What's up? What's good? Matt Clark here at the new Matt Clark. How are each and every one of you doing on this amazing Friday? I'm doing great. My girl's doing great. My family's doing great. Hope each and every one of you are doing great. And I hope you had a great week and are ready to have a great weekend. If you could please hit that like button, subscribe button, and that bell notification button so you get all my videos when they're new. If you could share with somebody on social media, help spread the message, help spread the word, that'd be amazing. And there's a PayPal option if you'd like to donate, help support the channel. The link is in the description of most of my videos. So what's up? It's been a minute. I know I said I was going to do the video before, but I wanted to let my other video just marinate a bit, grow a little bit. And it's just been busy. But I figured right now I got a minute, so I can chop it up. I got some news. We're going to talk about some Canadian prison news. And, man, it was a little bit of violence this summer in the federal prisons. There's some things that happen. And we know going to prison, period, you're going to see things. You're going to see violence. You're going to see extortion. You're going to see many things that are hard to see and hard to deal with. And mentally, it takes a lot for you to be equipped to deal with that on the day-to-day. It takes time, definitely. But these stories should be a stark reminder of why not to go to prison. You know, doesn't matter if you're in Ontario, British Columbia, Quebec, Alberta, doesn't matter where you are. Sure, one place might be a little more comfortable than the next, but at the end of the day, it is prison, and you can't control your destiny. Somebody else controls that. So my number one message is don't go to prison. But today, we're going to speak about some homicides, some things that have happened in the prison system in Canada. And I'm going to start by reading out this CBC News article that I found. 2 inmates charged with first-degree murder after deadly Manitoba prison riot. 33-year-old Colton Pachinos from Winnipeg was killed in the riot. 7 others injured. Manitoba RCMP have charged 2 40-year-old men with first-degree murder for their alleged roles in the deadly prison riot that rocked Stony Mountain Institution on Monday. Police say Terrell Smith from Quebec and Christopher Brass from Winnipeg were charged on Thursday following the death of 33-year-old Pachinos. Pachinos had been incarcerated since 2011 for a number of violent charges, including 3 convictions for first-degree murder. Police estimate the riot at the prison just north of Winnipeg involved approximately 50 inmates, and 2 correctional officers had to use guns to disrupt the fighting. 1 inmate was shot and remains in hospital, while 6 other inmates sustained other types of injuries during the fight and have since been released from the hospital. Officers seized 50 homemade weapons. RCMP continue to investigate the riot. 50 people involved in a riot. Now, do I think it's a riot or do I think it was a gang fight? Most likely, it's a gang fight. Stony Mountain is known for gang issues. The native guys down over there, they don't play, and they definitely have a lot of different street gangs that beef. And I would assume most likely it was either 2 gangs beefing each other or 1 gang attacking a vulnerable couple members of another gang. 1 guy died. He was not an innocent kind of dude. He already had 3 first-degree murder convictions. I assume he probably partook in this riot, but you never know. He could have been attacked. These things definitely do happen. He lost his life. Rest in peace to him, despite the fact of what he did. I don't know the reasons. I don't know his history, so I'm not going to pass judgment on the guy personally. But it definitely sucks to lose your life in that kind of situation. You're definitely lonely. You're definitely all by yourself, laying there on a prison floor, blood gushing out of you, nobody helping you. It could even be worse than that. People could be laughing at you. People could be taunting you, standing over top of you, making you feel like you're going to get attacked again, stopping you from getting medical aid. That happens sometimes. Now, I did hear about a situation where somebody got killed in the Haven, and they were just going to leave him in the yard, and this big jack dude picked him up, threw him over his shoulder, took him to the gate, and dropped him at the gate, but he still ended up losing his life anyways. But I guess he tried. He had some kind of a heart. The problem is, most of the time, when you're in a higher security prison, like Stony Mountain is, I'm sure this was either on the high, medium, or the max side, the reality is, this is a part of day-to-day life. And if you go to a prison that is mainly operated for gangs and by gangs, it's definitely going to be hard for you to stay out of that culture. I've talked about it in my videos many times. I can't tell you how many guys over my years came from out west, whether it's from Stony or Edmonton Max or wherever they're from, tattoos, gang tats all over their face, all over their bodies. They look like serious guys, and then you hear the stories, right? You find out that they've been run out of their prisons for shady shit. Or why else would they be here? No family here, no nothing, yet they're there. And that puts an automatic target on your back. So, stay out of the gangs. Stay away from it. If you're in a gang already when you go to prison, I'm not going to tell you to stay away from your own gang, somebody, a group you grew up with, but definitely do not join a prison gang. You'd be very lucky to find an actual group of guys that are going to ride for you and be loyal to you and not snitch on you. Just stay away from it and worry about getting out and improving yourself and your life. That's what I would say. First off, Stony is a crazy place. We know that. It's been a crazy place. It's had its issues with violence for the last few years. It's had issues with violence for a long time, but the last few years, it is clearly the most violent prison in Canada, and I don't even think it's really close. There must be some gang stuff happening there right now, and that's just the way that it is. It's clear to me. But when you see the picture right here of all the shanks they found, 50 edged weapons, 50 edged weapons. That is a lot. They said there is 50 individuals involved. That means every single person had a jigga. And probably more on average. Think about that. Think about two groups of, maybe it's 20 versus 20, maybe it's 30 versus 10, or 30 versus 20, maybe it's, who knows the numbers? But just imagine being somewhere, okay? You got this group against this wall, this group against this wall. They're talking, and then they clash. It's like trench warfare. Beefing in prison is like trench warfare. Face to face. You don't get to hide behind a strap. You don't get to kill from a distance. It's up close and personal. Prison's not fun, man. It's a scary place. And the higher security you're in, the more likely it is that you're going to be in these kind of circumstances day after day after day. If you're in that gym, despite the fact that you're not involved possibly in that beef, it could come your way. It's possible. And then you have the guys that were shot. Now, most jails in Ontario, the guards they have an AR-15. That's what they use in the trucks. I've seen 357s on my escorts. They take 357s, or they'll have like a 9mm Beretta. They have shotties. So they're not playing, and they will take you out. Somebody is still in the hospital. I don't know if he is now. This was a few months ago. I think this is in the summertime, but he would have been in the hospital, and they're taking headshots, but they're not just trying to hit you in the ankle. They're trying to put you down. If you are out in the yard, you're fighting, you're stabbing somebody, they tell you to stop, and you don't, you will be killed. And they have the legal right to do it, And if you're in a riot, a lot of the time, they will read you the riot act if it gets out of control, if it gets very serious. Once they read you the riot act, all of your rights are gone. They're gone. They can legally take your life, basically torture you, lock you up as long as they want, destroy all your property. You have given up your rights. And sometimes you don't even want to. You're just there and you got to be involved because that is how it is. Now, if you're ever in prison and there's a homicide, they're going to send the pen squad to the range. When the pen squad comes to the range, you refuse. It is understood across all of the prisons federally that is a no. And most of the times they're not even going to ask, but they may. If they feel like you're a weak link and maybe they can separate you and get you to talk, they may try. They're going to do a normal murder investigation. Range is going to be locked down the same. It's going to be taped off the same. They're going to come in with detectives, take pictures, come check knuckles. They're going to do evidence checks. They're going to check all the cameras, and anybody who is distinguishable as part of that violence is going to be charged accordingly. And it sucks, man. Being in a prison riot sucks. Seeing people get stabbed in prison sucks. Seeing people get their heads stomped in prison, it sucks. Unless you're like a demonic, sociopathic person, it all sucks. Seeing people get hurt doesn't make me feel good personally, and I know most people that watch the channel probably feel the same way. It's one thing to see a one-on-one fight, a fair fight, two guys smash each other, even if it's a good fight. It's another thing, though, to see somebody being brutalized and screaming or crying or losing their life, man. It's difficult on your mind, you know. It weighs on you for years, especially if you feel like you could have helped the person, you have any kind of love or respect for that person, and you see it happen. And sometimes prison politics just force you to kind of stay out of it, you know, unless you also want to lose your life. And this is not going to be your best friend, but maybe it's somebody you see on your block every day. Maybe you live on that block for 3 years and now you just watch this guy get killed. It affects you, you know. We had another homicide in Canadian prison. Hold on one second here. An inmate was killed during an altercation at a Rivière des Prairies detention center in Montreal on Saturday. The man was rushed to hospital with severe injuries, where he was later pronounced dead. Police have identified him as 27-year-old Anthony Abergsker. Rest in peace to that guy. I don't know what happened. He could be bad. He could be good. I don't know. I'm just going to leave it at I don't know. So rest in peace. But these are day-to-day. This is a provincial jail. This is somewhere where you go pre-conviction. And a lot of people don't understand pre-conviction and arrest. You are with murderers. You are with killers, rapists, robbers, you know, home invaders, extorters, kidnappers, the drug dealers, gang leaders. They're not separating you. You could have traffic tickets that have led you to jail, and you're going to be in a cell with a guy who's on 5 murders. It doesn't matter. So once you go, you're involved. And there's really no way around it. This is a provincial joint. Now, I don't know what happened, but a lot of guys that get messed up in provincial joints, it happens like that. When they're walking up to the range, they think everything's going to be good. I saw this dude, African guy, come on my range in Lindsay. And he walked on the range looking good. Doesn't look like a soft dude or a punk or like a weirdo or nothing like that. Normal dude. Buddy walks up to him, asks him, yo, what are you in for? Blah, blah, blah. He's not in the mood. He sees this young white kid asking him this question. He goes like this, yo, beat it from me. He ends up getting jumped by a bunch of dudes. One of my homies on the block is on a body and stomping his head. I have to lay down on the dude and tell him, like, bro, you want to fuck your life even more? You're on a body, brother. What are you doing? The guy did nothing. He didn't want attitude from a young kid. This guy's been around in the system. Doesn't want attitude. He doesn't want to feel punked. He didn't deserve to get jumped like that. What's wrong with you guys? You know what the funny thing is? He lived on that block 4 months. I bet you if he sees any of those dudes that jumped him on the streets, bah! It's like my one homie. He jumped a guy in the bucket, smashed a guy. The guy hit him first, right? Smoked him in the face with a castor oil container full of wet toilet paper, okay? The guy that got smoked is a big farmer kid. Smashed right in the face, didn't even faze him. He ends up smashing the shit out of this gang member. What did I tell him? Bro, you in Scarborough, you see this guy on the street, run. He's gonna shoot you in the face. You just kicked him in the face 10, 15 times when he's on the ground. What do you think he's gonna do if he sees you on the street? These are decisions you have to weigh out. Every single altercation, every situation in prison. You know, you have to think about it. Doesn't mean you get punked, but it means you have to be smart, you have to be calculated, and you have to think things through. It's chess, not checkers. Obviously, I share my stories with you guys so you don't have to go through these things yourselves. If I could snap my finger, nobody needs to kill anybody, which I don't think anybody does. Nobody needs to steal or rob or do any of these things that could land them in prison. That's what I do, but that's not a reality in 2023. It's hard out here, and a lot of people, honestly, are going to prison because it's hard, man. It's hard to see hope. And I'll tell you, I look in the future, and I don't see hope, sadly enough. I see hope in my own life, but I mean for humans as a whole. Seems like we're falling apart, man. We need to come together. We need to come together, man. I hope anybody that's watching this, just stay away from the gangs. You know, stay away from it, man. It's not worth it. I got a homie right now that's like a middle-aged man that's joining a gang. And I just think it's a really bad decision. I love him. He's my brother. I'm going to support him regardless. But bad decision, man. You got your whole life, family, good job. Why? It's like a midlife crisis. I don't understand it. If you could please hit that like button, subscribe button, and that bell notification button so you get all my videos when they're new. If you could share with somebody on social media, help spread the message, help spread the word, that'd be amazing. And there's a PayPal option if you'd like to donate, help support the channel. The link is in the description of most of my videos. So, 2 homicides in July and June, I think it was. And it doesn't seem like a lot, you know, but it is, man. If you only have 5,000 or 6,000 inmates in the province and you have multiple homicides in that province, it's still a pretty high homicide rate. And when you take away homicides, there's a ton of stabbings that people don't lose their lives, that just come that close. But because medical is right there and they're able to get assistance quickly, they don't lose their life. So it looks like there's not that much violence happening in the Canadian prisons. But I was there. People get beat up every day. People get sliced, $1.50. Doesn't matter. It happens every single day. Don't go to prison. And if you do happen to go to prison, don't join a prison gang, or you could end up in a situation like this, where you're having a 25 on 25 riot, shanks, people stabbing each other, guards firing rounds from the fucking rifle tower or from the gym towers that they have, like lookout windows. Man, getting clipped with an M16 in prison. Like, how much does that suck? Just look for bigger things, you know? See yourself doing great things, and those things will happen. Love y'all. The new Mac.